"You're not getting a bonus," she said at 4:12 p.m. in a glass boardroom. Everyone smiled. I stayed silent. 19 years erased in seconds. They called it a mistake. I left, took a competitor offer. 3 days later, they panicked. I won in silence. 19 years. That's how long I had been the person they called when something was about to break. Not my manager. Not the guy they brought in 6 months ago with the MBA and the pressed suits and the language that sounded important without saying anything. Me. I was the one with the 2 a.m. alerts on my phone. I was the one who knew where every system was held together and exactly how fragile some of those seams were. And when they posted their highest revenue quarter in company history, I sat in a conference room watching other people collect on it. The meeting started at 4. The CFO stood at the front with a folder and a rehearsed tone and said the word alignment 3 times before she got to the point. Bonuses would be distributed across the leadership team, with one exception. She didn't say my name. She didn't have to. I was the only one staring at a packet with no number on page 2. Not a 0. A blank space. There is a difference. 0 is a decision. Blank means you were never part of the calculation. I looked around the room. Jason, the strategic hire, was adjusting his cufflinks. 2 VPs were nodding. No one made eye contact with me. Not because they didn't know, because they did. This had been decided before anyone walked in. I was the only one who hadn't been told. I didn't say a word. I folded the packet, stood up when the meeting ended, and walked out. No email, no confrontation, no scene. On the drive home, I wasn't angry. I was clear. There's a difference. Anger is loud and reactive. Clarity is quiet, and it stays. I had spent 19 years making myself indispensable in ways that never showed up in a title or a bonus structure. Ways that lived in undocumented workarounds, in quiet fixes that kept things from becoming expensive problems. And the company had just told me what all of that was worth to them. I got home and opened my laptop. There was a message from an old coworker who had left for a competitor 2 years earlier. He'd reached out 3 weeks before, and I had let it sit because I wasn't looking. I had never seriously considered leaving. I had built too much. I knew too much. I told myself that was a reason to stay. That night, it looked more like the reason they were comfortable doing what they did, I replied. We talked the next morning. He didn't waste time. He told me they were expanding and needed someone who understood how to build and maintain operational infrastructure at scale. Then he named a number before I even hinted at compensation. Nearly triple my salary. I asked him to repeat it. He did. Same number. I spent the next 2 days watching things at the office differently. A late-night process alert came in, and instead of fixing it myself, I logged it and forwarded it to the on-call team. By morning, it had grown into a full cross-team discussion. Jason messaged asking for a quick fix. I told him the documentation covered it. He called. I said the same thing. The pause on his end told me exactly how well he understood what I had been doing quietly since he arrived. I sent my resignation on Tuesday. 8 sentences. Formal, professional, and final. By noon, Jason had called 4 times. By Thursday, my manager was asking if there was anything they could do to revisit compensation. By Friday, a VP I had barely spoken to in months was standing in my office doorway asking who handled the overnight alerts when I was unavailable. I told him I had documented everything. He looked at me the way people look when they realize the manual doesn't actually exist, when they understand that what they thought was a system was actually a person, and that person had just stopped. I said I was confident the team would work through it. I smiled, told him good luck. On my last day, there was no send-off. A few handshakes. Jason stopped by and said good luck in the tone people use when they don't know what else to say. I said the same back. Packed my things, shut down my computer, and walked out at 4:11 p.m. 1 minute before she took mine. My first paycheck at the new company hit at the end of the month. I looked at it once, then looked again. Not because I didn't believe it, because of what it meant. Someone had looked at the work, understood it, and put a number next to it that matched. No blank space, no quiet exclusion. A clear acknowledgement of what it had always been worth. Things weren't smooth at the old company after I left. Not catastrophic, just slower. Friction where there used to be flow. Meetings running longer. Teams chasing answers that used to appear before anyone had to ask. I hadn't broken anything when I left. I hadn't taken anything with me. I had just stopped holding it together, and it turns out that's enough.